Welcome to Raising the Bar, a podcast giving no bullshit marketing advice for Aussie business owners. Expertise takes experience, and that's why we tell stories from lived experience to deliver marketing that raises the standard of what Aussie business owners should expect.
All right, we are back with episode 7 of Raising the Bar, and today we're talking about Google Business Profile. So we'll jump straight into it. What is it?
Well, if you're old like me, you'd probably actually call it Google. He's coming along. If you're old like me, you'd probably call it Google My Business, and then, more recently, the Google Business Profile. So it's that little box that appears, and it can appear most commonly if you're search for your brand name. So someone searches your company name or searches something, it pops up and it's got a little map, and it will usually have a few photos and opening hours, all the really helpful things, really common reference we have. So that is our Google Business Profile, or if you're a little old school, you might remember Google My Business page, what it was back in the day.
Yep, and do you think it's important?
Incredibly important. Probably a little less important today than it was sort of 3 or 4 years ago with the advent of AI, but still quite relevant. And why is it so important? It's probably one of those real human touch points in marketing. So in reality, it's the thing directing us to where we go. You think about how many times you would interact to see if a place is open, how often we use Google reviews as an opportunity to pick the restaurant or the place we're going to, select to have a coffee, particularly if you're international, and it has that international feel. You can land in the US and you're seeing something that you're really familiar with if you're at home. So it's incredibly credible and really familiar to people. It's really easy to use, and you don't feel like you're being marketed to. It's something that feels a little bit natural in the way we connect with it.
Yeah, and is it easy? Do you think it's easy to set up as a business owner?
Well, it's free. So it's literally the best tool you can have. Is it easy to set up? Well, you need to press a few buttons and you need to log into something. And the most important tip I can give any business owner is save your password, you knob. So it's that important at all. And I think I've mentioned it in previous pods that it's actually, for most people, it's the first thing you could set up and get away with not having a website for a little while. Just a little while in terms of doing it, setting up your business. So you'd set that up. And incredibly frustrating, and probably one of the first tips is claim your profile. So that's been done. But, know your login, know your password. And if you're a bit smaller and you don't have someone managing that stuff, the amount of times a marketing manager's moved on from a company and they can't access their Google My Business profile, it's not easy to log in if you don't have that stuff. So claim it. And save your password. It's something as the business owner, it's your asset. Try and keep the login details for it.
Yeah, very common mistake. There's so many mistakes, right, that can happen with Google Business Profile, though. Do you want to take me through a few of them that we commonly see? Yeah,
so I think in the context of this isn't a marketing gimmick. So the mistakes that we see are, my personal favourite is when you allow the public to upload pictures, because what a lot of people don't know is that anyone can upload a picture to your Google My Business profile, and if you're not really paying attention, or again, if you don't have those login details, you're not actually controlling your brand. So that's not very good. So first one, control your images.
That's a big one. Just as someone that looks at Google Business Profile pictures for meals or restaurants.
For food, what a surprise me.
Of course. Yeah. But a professional photo of an eggs Benny versus a customer photo of an eggs Benny is very different. Yeah. But it's good. It's real, right? And it's in some ways.
It's a perfect example.
But I do feel sorry when people post photos that's like a half-eaten meal.
Yeah.
Or there's like splatters on the plate. Anyway. As
a restaurateur, you can be pretty disappointed. So in those really broad B2C examples, someone's posted a picture that doesn't paint your business in the best light, and you can request they're removed as the business owner, as the profile owner, right? Yep. So that's one. And then the other one, in a more B2B context, is someone takes a crappy picture of an outdoor premises that actually doesn't quite capture where you are. There's lots of examples where that's my office, or they took a picture of the street across the road. And if you don't load any photos in, it might actually just be the Google car driving past. And at that time, maybe you've got a car that's got a different brand on it parked outside your business. So just upload the right photos, and if you're trying to do the right thing consistently, update them a lot. You can keep adding photos to it because Google loves when you're making updates. So imagery, make sure that all your profile information's updated. Obviously, we talk about reviews a lot for credibility, for the way it feeds AI, for the way it feeds your reputation. Respond to reviews. Make sure you're actually looking like you're actively involved in your business and you give a shit. It's a really important thing. When it's public holidays or differing closing hours, make sure you jump on and update them and show Google that you are interacting, because they will favour you if you do that. You and me were in Albany recently, and it was Australia Day, and I had to come pick you up from an airport, and my wife sent me to do some shopping, and we couldn't tell what was open, and we went to the wrong place about 5 times because they all said they hadn't updated their Google My Business profile. Incredibly annoying, right? So they're the things you update. Now, I would also, you also should be uploading your articles. So if you write a blog for your webpage, you should be loading that to your Google My Business page. If you do a social post, use your Google Business profile as a bit of a social media page as well. Updating it and continually feeding the algorithm is good. So wherever there's content, post it there as well. So they're the things that you want to be doing. A mistake is just leaving it and not doing anything. Now, I'd usually also mention keep your Q&A, your questions and answers updated. You used to be able to ask the question and then write the answer, which is really good because you can manipulate those key terms, I guess, that you put in there and a search intent within it. But unfortunately, and it wasn't too long ago, Google has retired Q&A because apparently some marketers were manipulating results a bit. No, maybe a bit. Yeah, so they've updated that now. So you'll see Q&A for a little while in Australia, but we can no longer add Q&A to Google My Business profiles.
Sad times.
I said My Business again. I keep showing my Google Business profiles. And
that shows it.
yeah, well, they're rolling out something new. So that's a change that's coming. So Q&A off your website, off your Google Business profile and onto your website.
Just want to jump back though. When you say reviews, because I feel like I see this all the time when I speak to business owners, when they want their Google business to be good and make them seem as credible as they are, but they have a bad review on there. It's a super common conversation we have. What's your recommendation there if they're finding that?
Cool. Okay.
And it may not, I'm obviously implying here that it might not be.
It's not a fair review.
Yeah. If they're shit, they're shit.
Yeah. Well, they're not our customer because we won't work with you. So really good question. So I really sympathise with it. You know, you know, particularly that we can't always control in a restaurant space or a coffee, people's taste change, and sometimes people are really unhappy and they tell their side of the story, right? And there's often 2 sides of the story. So first of all, it's difficult. One thing that I would say is always leave the response publicly there, so respond and say, hey, Mon, I understand your frustration. We have spoken multiple times on the phone. The things you've outlined here aren't the way that we saw that happened. You'll hear a lot of people, when you speak to reasonable humans, say, I checked their Google reviews, but I loved the way they'd actually responded to something. I love that when I hear that. Yeah. And I actually say to customers, if you are like a 4.8, 4.9, to me it's almost, especially if someone has lots of reviews, if you're in that category, I actually kind of like that more than a 5-star view, because when people use, we've got 100,000 5-star reviews. Well, I've been in business long enough to know that not every customer loves me, right? So I actually think it's sometimes more credible to be in a healthy range than it is to just be 5-star reviews, because one of the other options and it is recommended and it is done for our customers, and clients sometimes, is there are services that remove Google reviews. It's still a bit of a legal process, costs about $500 per review to get it removed. And depending, if it is just downright you're getting them all the time, the service is somewhat credible. They have a legal team that'll fight the reviews, but it's definitely an option. And I'd say in 20-30% of cases we're using a service like that. So don't stress about it. Contact your digital agency. They should point you in the right direction. One of the things we do, just to carry that question on, is when a poor review comes in for our clients, we're on it really quick. We've got some automations that say it. So first of all, know it's there, don't leave it there for a long time. And we'll phone them, get the context from them of actually what's their side of the story, and then we draft the response, we send it to our client and they approve it and we post it for them. So it happens real quick. Just respond as fast as you can. And I think you can probably almost paint yourself in a better light if you do it well.
Yeah, I feel like all those little responses to the other reviews, especially when they seem like they're not just a copy paste, they're a little bit more personal, then when you have those, then they see how nice and authentic you are when you reply to all those reviews. when there is a hard one, it's
I mean, you give a shit. And therefore, if you know someone's going to take the time to review and it's not this scripted, crapping marketing girl's response, but you've actually gone, hey, like this. I mean, ultimately, my advice is try and take it off the social dial. And here's my direct email address. Reach out to me. Here's an email address you can reach me on as well. It's a good one to put in those reviews. So, yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So we're pretty lucky. A lot of our clients are really aware how important Google Business Profile is. But something that's happened recently, and you've kind of touched on perhaps why, is that their stats of impressions or views or people being on their Google Business Profile has dropped recently, and a few people who are more on top of our reporting have actually been like, oh, what's happening, and a bit panicked. Do you want to talk on kind of what's changed recently and why that's happening? Yeah,
so probably where most business owners are seeing it, if it's not part of their report, and obviously it's part of our reporting to ideally explain why, but show that decline, is that Google My Business to the registered profile owner. I said Google My Business again. I'm 40 this year. Maybe I'm getting dementia already. The beers make it fun. So you Google Business Profile. Google sends you an email every month. It actually sends you a little alert on your phone as well. It's like, hey, look at your statistics for the month. And so we're looking at an email. Most business owners, if they have access, if they're attached to their profile, will know that it sort of says, your web visits, your web clicks are up, your phone calls, they're down and they've dropped, right? So we're talking about that email. And consistently, probably since about, I would say we first started seeing it for particular, probably I guess more high intent purchases, so people that they're doing more research, they're trying to get through awareness and interest before they engage with a company. Does that make sense? Yeah. For those kind of business, probably started seeing around August, September that the Google business profile was sort of always showing month on month a bit of a decline, and there was a really obvious reason for that, and that is that people are moving to large learning models and AI to actually do a bit of their searches. So I guess in a way to explain that is, you have a website, that's sort of your foundation. It's where we're driving people to from different acquisition channels is what we say, but let's just say different channels. And traditionally, Google made up a really large proportion of that. You would have direct traffic, so people that actually literally typed www.3by2.com.au, and then you would have traffic from search, so someone searching your business name directly, someone searching a keyword to find you, traffic from Google My Business as a referral source, traffic from social media, traffic from an email signature, all those things. But really, the big proportion of most websites, it came from some form of Google, and there'd be a little bit from Bing.
Right? Bing.
And that's really changing. Actually, in fact, I think the statistic we were looking at, we've been tracking this across our clients in terms of how the movement is happening. It's about 30% of traffic is now moved away from Google, and it's actually coming from different AI bots, right? So it's a massive shift, and it's probably only been about sort of 6 months we've been tracking, but that big number probably happened around November, December, so pretty fresh stats. We're in Feb now. It's a move, but it's not something to be frightened of.
So we shouldn't be panicking?
Sure. I don't think anything's worth panicking. I think if you consider AI to be incredibly, we're on a verge of something, on a preface of something really big, and I think that AI is going to transform marketing the same way which websites and Google transformed the way we market, right? But there was a lot of hype in digital marketing, and SEO was mostly bullshit for a very long time. But there is benefit in getting in early. And I think if you really go back to that first episode we did, episode 1, a lot of things are very similar to SEO principles, but we're just moving away from keyword searches, and we're moving into, it was when AI eats search. You know that? Remember that one?
We've moving done away 7 episodes. It'd be bad if I didn't remember the first one.
But the key principle is probably really try to get people to think we're moving away from keywords like plumber Perth and to more high search intent, more human responses. So who is the best plumber in Perth, and why did you choose them? For what reasons? And the way we're preparing our content and our schemas and our Q&As is to probably more look after those type of responses than the traditional keyword stuff that we did in SEO.
Yeah, okay.
Makes sense?
Yeah. So in terms of kind of is there a strategic change in how someone then manages
Google business profile?
Yeah.
It's
due
still
to the changes in AI, I mean specifically.
Well, interestingly, we still believe. So no one really understands how AI is being fed. There's really lots of experts coming out. I mean, everyone wants to be the first, but until an AI.
Sorry, I was about to say first is worst, second is best. I think I spent too much time with your kids.
AI, until there's an AI sort of like front runner, Google sort of set the standard of if Google's going to make this change, this is how we'd manipulate it, right? If that makes sense. So I think how does it impact, like, should I still bother with my Google business profile? Absolutely, because from what we can see, reviews on Google business profiles are still actually really impacting particularly ChatGPT results. So where did you get that credibility? Like from why did you rate that number one for this? Oh, there were 3 reviews that mentioned they were the poshest restaurant in Cottesloe or like the best fine dining in Cottesloe. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. And that was a search I was doing. I booked in one of my best mates' 40th birthday lunches with me. So yeah, so you can ask it sort of like, why did you say that about it? And then you can start to see where those things come from. So why Google Business Profile is still important? Well, it's still feeding AI. So AI is still going there and pulling information from it. So it's still one of those foundational things, and AI is being fed by our website still, and AI is still being fueled by our Google My Business Profile in a way of reviews in particular, and those articles you post on there. Actually, can I touch on something? I mentioned, they're taking away the Q&A and off Google Business Profile.
Yeah.
And they're popping it onto, our recommendation is start putting that onto your website, putting your Q&As on your website now because they're still going to be read, and they give you a really good way to, I guess, make those really curated questions that people would ask AI and put them on your website, right? But it is being replaced. So yes, they're retiring the Q&A off the business profile, but they're replacing it with, I think it's like Ask Me or something along those lines. I actually showed you that article.
Ask about this business?
Ask about this business. It was young Mia that sort of was looking around. She found it 2 or 3 months ago and sort of like, hey guys, this is happening. We should get this out. So we've started a project to transition all our clients' Q&As from their Google Business Profile over to their websites and, mark up the schemas and do those nerdy things that we do behind the scenes. But so Ask My Business, I think it is, or
Ask about this business.
Ask about this business. Either way, it's a bloody chatbot. It's just a prompt for a chatbot. And when sort of we did our investigation into it, it's pulling from Google My Business anyway, but rather than having to read a list of questions and answers that people have had, you can ask your question, what time does this place open? Do they take reservations? Is there parking there? What's the average, wait time to get a coffee there? Things like that. And it will search the website. As a first point of credibility, it'll search the Google Business Profile and it will search other, I guess, reliable sources. So Gemini, it's Google's tool. It's Gemini's AI tool is going and searching that for you, but it doesn't count as a hit on your Google Business Profile. So that's why you're not going to see the statistics, right?
So to recap that, the changes in terms of, because obviously how does a business owner go about that? It's still, the Q&As obviously aren't on the Google Business Profile, or they won't be eventually in the near future. Do we have a date when it's happening over here?
It's already in the US that they've got the AI prompt.
Yeah.
And I think that you can't see the question Q&A on their profiles anymore if they've got the AI prompt now. It's like a little question box that come up, like a prompt. In Australia, we can tell you what we're seeing with our clients is the Q&A still is visible, but we can't add any more to them. So it's closed off to add them. And as soon as I'm sure they've done all their testing in the US and piloted it, it'll come out here and I'll replace it.
And so instead we're focused on making sure the website content, putting it there.
Yeah, we're literally copying and pasting them, putting them in a new Q&A section on website so that content is preserved. And also we know that Q&A style content is really good for the AI bots, right? So that's why we're doing it.
I heard you recently talking to one of our colleagues about, what would you say, Google Business Profile? I think you referred to it as like an indoor plant. And I thought you were actually taking a bit of a hit at me because I obviously look after the indoor plants in the office and I cop a lot of shit about it. But what was your analogy there?
I think it was the more you do to it, the better. So it's like an indoor plant, but even better because you can't overwater it, right? Like you've got to keep. My
problem is underwatering.
Yeah, so you've got to keep feeding it, but too much isn't it can't be bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, it's Google rewards the rewards change, rewards updating, rewards the constant refresh of content, as long as it's not totally irrelevant, right?
Yeah.
But I think the thing we miss is we think it's this thing once we set it up, it's set and forget. You know, one of the failures is set and forget. It's just not a set and forget. I think the easiest frame, as I sort of mentioned, is view it as a social media platform, something that needs to be fed. And by God, how important is it? You know, the amount of people that change addresses and don't update their Google business profile, you know, crazy, right? And it takes a bit of time. You know, really interesting point. Actually, it was you that went out. We have a great client, big mechanical services business, right? Actually, was that the one you did? No, you had to go and do, you had to verify it. Right. Yeah, so
it was an interesting process. Why I asked how hard is it to set up would make a change the start day.
Listen, I actually don't want to make large of it because it's something that's so important. But there is one thing that is a little bit difficult, but for good reasons, and that's verifying your location.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so back in the day when I was a little puppy, I would do a lot of work in the wheat belt. And actually what Google did is they started sending these postcards to all these businesses. So I always used to laugh and say, yes, the big digital giant of the world, Google, to get you to be verified, they send you physical mail, and it would be a little Google card and had a little code on it, and you could go on and verify and say, I'm this person, it got delivered to this address, and it's verified now. Quick point is, why did they do that? Well, that's because people just kept setting up fake profiles. And there was, you know, if I say it, you know, an international dodgy company that would say they're in Perth, Western Australia, and they'd be selling some crappy product, but it didn't have a bricks and mortar store here. So really for Google, it was the integrity of Google Maps. That was the core product they had to do. Once you create maps, you know how long it's taking, where people are driving from and to, you start to get really good buying habits data. It was a really important part of their total world domination. See how it goes with AI. So first of all, let's frame it why they had motivation to do it. And then, you know, these cards got out. That's when Google Business Profiles, and it was Google My Business back then, absolutely took off. That was probably 2014, 15, 16. You just really saw businesses take it up and things were being updated. And then we started to understand its importance in search engine optimization. So it really took hold. What then happened over time is that the postcards would go missing. And of course, like, I don't think we have a post box here that's our physical address. We have a PO box, right? So, you know, that happened a lot and lots of people complained, and people are like level 14 of a, you know, massive high-rise building. So all of those things. So Google put in some new things, and one of those was that you have to physically make a phone call and verify that you're there. And I think you had to do one which was a video to show you were physically.
I certainly did.
Well, talk us through the process, because that's probably.
Well, I had to have the street name or like something to identify where it was on the street. Anyway, but the office I was going up to get evidence of was actually a fair walk from the street sign, and I may have had my kids with me, and they were coming in the peripheral of the video as I was trying to get it, charging up the stairs, showing the name of the, you know, the office building, going up, showing the name on like a plaque, and then going up and say, and then you have to actually go into the office, show yourself.
We wanted to make it sound not that hard.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, it can be
maybe
hard. But if your marketing person will do it for you, it'll be easier.
Much better way to do it.
Much easier.
Also, I'm probably one of those bit of a, you know, I didn't want to hit a point on the, you know, it says like these are the things you need to do. You know what I'm like? I wanted a HD on it basically, so I wanted to make sure I hit every single point. You're not an
easy pharmacist, that's okay. Do you know what? In fairness, I didn't even see you get nominated, but I think that was a 3x2. Who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit?
Moment.
Exactly.
1%er, delivering beyond your job role. Congratulations. I just want to say you get a free beer. Oh, you're drinking already.
Oh, it's all gone.
Oh, which is.
So it's really easy doing the Google Business Profile stuff.
Yeah, okay. So that bit can be a little bit annoying, but well worth the effort, and pay someone to do it. I just like to say outsource shit jobs. It's a very good thing to do. Yep. So, yeah, easy
I'll
done.
be there.
Yeah. So I think... to that point, do you know why I really like that they've made it difficult? Because they're just improving the credibility of what is a really useful tool. So I would put it that way. What if someone took your business name and set up a profile, and it was just down the road, and it wasn't difficult to verify, or not, they wouldn't be just down the road, but somewhere else, and they could just operate as you and kind of had your name there. You want to verify these things. It's a good thing. So it's like people complaining about two-factor authentication. It's for you. Just get it done.
Yeah. So I guess Google Business Profile is still fairly important.
Yeah, it really
important.
Yeah, I think
Once it's set up.
it has its place. My prediction would be I can't see myself not using Google Maps until my car can understand and drive itself somewhere and the maps are integrated somewhere else. So like all things, is it a forever tool? I don't know the answer to that. I don't think anyone, well, I'd actually probably say I do. It's probably no. There's going to be other ways of finding our ways to place. But for now, I think as a business, like I said, it was 30% have moved to AI. That means that 70% are still using traditional Google search, and we're still seeing a lot of pay-per-click leads. We're still seeing a lot of search engine optimization leads, which are in part Google Business Profile leads. So it's got its place. It's still really important, and it's fueling the AI search as well. So keep it going, keep it up to date.
Yeah. So in a nutshell, surely we got a business owner.
I love when you say that because every time I'm like,
nutshell.
Yeah, well, we could.
I reckon we'd have 1 or 2 business owners listening right now.
Yeah.
Give us the overview, like going into what's important. What are the key things to kind of hit?
Yep. So Google Business Profile, if you are a bricks and mortar location that needs to be found in Perth, Western Australia, because that's where most of the people we talk to are from, you have to have your Google Business Profile. It's an absolute must.
Yep.
If you are a person who is found on Google search, and most of us are, because remember a lot of those searches are brand searches, so they're just searching for our business name.
Yeah.
It's an absolute no-brainer, and it's one of the very few marketing tools that's actually free. Google's giving you something for free. I always love that saying that if you aren't paying for the product, you are the product, right? And there's probably elements of that. Google would be using lots of data, knowing, that's a popular pool pump servicing business. They get a lot of of course they've got some of that data, but my God, it's driving customers to you. The customer and the consumer is deeply embedded in it, so pay attention to it. What to do to make sure regular claim it and save your password. I don't know if I've made that clear, but if I could make that point 1, 2, and 3, I'm helping a friend out. Andrew Shave, if you're listening, you may be my
naming and shaming.
You may be my sister-in-law's father, but I was literally chatting to him yesterday, and I'm like, it doesn't matter about all of those things if you can just update your Google Business Profile. And he's like, I don't know where the password is. I'm like, Mr. Shave, come on. So yeah, very important. So name, claim it, save it, get it done. I personally think Google reviews are the most important thing in there. Respond promptly, and encourage people to do them. I'm going to say that a lot. It's a credibility piece. Check your photos, make sure they're up to date. Update your closing hours. Make sure all the clicks are right. If I click on website, does it load my website? If I click on phone number, does it actually phone my phone number, particularly from a mobile phone? If I click on address, is that actually my address? Like, make sure the Google map actually goes and pins to your location. So check those things. Just like I encourage you to fill in your web forms on your website, click your buttons on your Google Business Profile, and update it regularly. Put your articles on there. Treat it like a social media page.
Amazing. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Good chat.
Great chat.
I need another beer.
Me too.